What's up guys? In this video I'll be explaining the tactical element of the return of serve in doubles badminton. Let's first talk about returning the most common serve, a short serve to the tee. What are your options in returning the serve and what should be going through your mind? It's really important to take the shuttlecock as early as possible to avoid it dropping too far under the net, which will mean you have to play a lift upwards. This means you want to stand as close as you can to the line while still being able to get flick serves back. During a game, if your opponent isn't flick serving it much, or you feel comfortable returning them, you could stand slightly closer to put more pressure on their serve. It's also important to lunge forward to take the shuttle earlier, rather than standing still and waiting for the shuttlecock to reach you. Doing these two things will greatly improve your shot quality on the return of serve. I believe the best doubles players in the world in the service situation is Muhammad Hassan and Hendra Setiawan for Indonesia. They are able to outmaneuver their opponents and put themselves in an advantageous position just from the return of serve in a rally. One of the most common shots they like to play is a straight push to the middle of the court. To play this shot, you have to get to the shuttlecock early so that you are playing it flat or downwards rather than having to play upwards. The reason why it is effective is because it's quite hard for the front player to return it, since they will have to get their racket up and to the shuttle as soon as they serve. This means it can make it awkward for the backcourt player because the shuttlecock is right next to their body, meaning they don't have much space to play the return. It's also a reasonably safe shot to play and can often cause the shuttlecock to touch the net and come over. After playing the shot, you can stand towards the net as shown here to try and start the rally in an attacking position and cut out any drive shots coming back at you. Another safe version of this shot is instead of pushing the shuttlecock to the middle, you can push it to your opponent's backhand side. This shot is a great option and works especially well with players who don't have the best backhands. This is because it can allow you to get right back onto the attack and put pressure on your opponents. It's also really effective because the shuttlecock can end up in the divorce area, in between the front and backcourt players, which can cause hesitation. By playing to their backhand, a lot of players will likely return it by playing a lift to the back or a shot to the net. This means you can try and play the push shot to the backhand and then move into the front of the court with your partner covering the back in case they lift it. This will put even more pressure on their shot because if they play a drop to the net, you should be in position to play a winning shot from it. Your partner at the back will then be able to attack any lift they do. You do have to be careful in case your opponent is driving the shuttle back, since if you moved into a front and back attacking formation, the sides are vulnerable. This is why you have to try different tactics and adapt during games to gain an advantage. Nevertheless, the push to the backhand side on the return of serve is a great option at an amateur and professional level. One of the best return of serves to force a lift from your opponent and get onto the attack is by playing a net shot. This is one of the most common and effective return of serves at professional level. Playing a net shot will mean your opponent almost has no other option but to lift the shuttlecock to the back. This is because it's very hard to play another net shot back, because you will be stood right next to the net, ready to kill any net shot back. The most common variation of this is to play the net shot to the middle. This is because it's the easiest and shortest distance for the shuttlecock to travel on the return of serve. It also greatly reduces the angle in where your opponent can play the shot, compared to if you played a wide net shot. It's a good idea to play a net shot to the side as well though, since this can make your opponent have to reach further to play the shot, and perhaps cause their lift to be not quite to the back. When playing the net shot, you can also add spin to the shuttlecock, meaning when the shuttle was coming over, it's spinning and therefore makes it much harder to hit. If you don't use this shot that much, I would highly recommend trying it out in games and seeing the results. The most important thing on the return of serve is to try and keep the shuttlecock going downwards, as this will help you get onto the attack. This is the same if your opponent flick serves you. You want to be able to get back quick enough to try and hit the shuttle down. Even if you can't get back to smashes in time, playing a flat drive or a fast drop is a great option rather than having to lift it every time. Sometimes you have no choice and are forced to lift it, which is okay if it's landing right at the back. Next time you play, I encourage you to think about your options on the return of serve and focus on keeping it down. Try to look at what your opponent likes to do as well to exploit that. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please subscribe and like the video to see more badminton content. Have a great day.